Super. BS.
What up, boys and girls, mommies and daddies? This is the old Stank Bank, bringing it to ya real crank. Not sure what that means, but I'm going to be moderating the show tonight, so...
hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Good luck to all you who have to listen to me all night. So, I wanted to just do a few quick plugs for ourselves. I want to make sure you guys are emailing us your thoughts and your prayers. superbs@gmail.com. Also follow us on
Super
Instagram.
BS Cast.
Oh my goodness, Super BS Cast.
Yeah.
Wow,
At
guys, we're gonna have
match.com.
to
At match.com.
match.com.
It wasn't a Gmail. Sorry, man. We had the wrong.
We're gonna have to edit that out in post, guys. superbscast@gmail.com. Instagram superbsgamescast, and then Twitter is superbscast. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Are we
Couldn't
on
get them all the
MySpace?
same.
What about MySpace?
We are on MySpace.
Okay.
We actually are Tom now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have superbuns.myspace.biz. It was a weird, very confusing one.
He's not joking. So who is on my left here tonight? Who do I got over here?
This is the boy you know and the boy you love. This is Brian Brank Broderson Wagoner III. Badooch.
It's a lot of names.
And none of them are true.
And who do we have over here?
My mom named me Janko.
Well, he doesn't know how to say it.
Yeah, I don't know how to talk either. It's Jankua Josherson, otherwise known as Josh Peterson.
Josh Palderson.
Alderson. Schmalderson.
Okay. And who do we have over here in this corner?
My name is Thomas Sutton, and I am David's brother.
Tom,
What?
Tom
Wait,
reviews
don't
Batman
reveal
movies.
Yep. This is my brother. You are all being graced with our very first guest tonight, who is my middle brother.
Actually, technically second family guest.
I don't
But this is a
know.
first
I
one-time
think he's
guest.
the first official guest.
Yeah, I like that.
Oomph.
Thanks
Anyways.
for having me.
You're welcome. Glad you could make it.
I know. Is that weird? It's like having your parents argue about you while you're sitting in the back seat.
I'm used to it, so it's okay.
Tom is my middle brother and is a super big gamer and a great friend of mine, and we're really super stoked to have him on the show tonight. So welcome,
Super
Tom.
stoked to have you on Super BS.
Happy to be here.
Exactly. I think we're probably gonna call you Tank Bank tonight in honor of Stank Bank. Just one letter off of a Stank Bank. So
Works
we'll
for me.
We'll call you
We-
Tank Bank.
We are so original.
We do original comments and comedy all week, every night of the week, okay?
Tom, why don't you tell me, or Tank, why don't you tell me about just some games that you like to play in general? Like, what are you into?
In general, right now, these days, I don't play much of the Zelda and the Mario games we did when we were kids. But
Wrong.
right now,
Sorry. Sorry about interrupting and derailing.
no, it's no problem at all.
That's a demerit for you, Brian.
This
Thank
is
you.
your show. Right now,
Except tonight it's mine. So
I'm more of a sports gamer. I've been playing Madden over the years. I'm still into Heroes of Might and Magic, though. I play that. It's a fun game.
Which version? Which heroes?
Might and Magic 3 complete.
Duh. Okay.
Easiest one.
I didn't want to ask, but I just had to make sure.
Oh, totally. I mean, Heroes 4 was cool, but I think Heroes 3 is definitely the best.
What other kind of games do you play? Anything else?
That's about it right now. Just Madden Heroes, and then I definitely get nostalgic. Might play Mega Man if the Super Nintendo is
Ooh,
out.
nice.
Or Raspberry Pi is out. But
Raspberry Pi.
yeah.
I'm a
but
Pieman.
that-
So what are you playing right now? What games you working with now?
right now it's Madden 17. Waiting for Madden 18 to come out.
Nice.
The GOAT edition is looming right now.
Nice.
But right now Madden 17, it's probably where our only game I'm playing. And Heroes Might and Magic 3 on the iPad, which is now
Oh
available
yeah,
in
the
the App
iPad
Store.
port. Have you
And-
guys played that yet?
It's
not great.
Yeah, I played it.
It's
It's-
nice.
Yeah,
Gets the
it's
job
nice
done
to
if you
be
have the
like
itch.
portable, but yeah, it's not the best. You can't do
No.
a lot of custom games, which is the biggest problem I had. Like, I want to play an 8-match game with like any map, but you have one map option, one thing. It's free for all. You can't do teams, so it's just really frustrating that they took out the basics. Like,
Yeah, the map generator is what made that game, like what really improved or created replayability in that game. Without it, it's kind of tough.
When companies make mobile games, do they make them themselves or do they contract to somebody else?
it depends.
Well, that one was contracted out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Usually-
Ubisoft didn't it?
It's like
Did it?
3DO, but now Ubisoft is doing the iPad.
There you
Ubisoft
go.
actually owns Heroes of Might and Magic now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Oh,
so Heroes
really?
of Might and Magic 7 is a Ubisoft game. But
Interesting.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if Ubisoft, they probably have their name on it, but my guess is they ported out some third-party company that gets paid, whatever, to do these things. Like, that's how many games get made. There's like a company named Iron Galaxy that makes tons of ports, and that's how they make like their living, is just porting other people's games.
Interesting.
It's a weird industry when that's what you do.
Speaking of what you do, Brian. What are you playing this week?
What I be playing? Actually, I've been a one-man, one-game machine recently. I've been keeping it lawful with my lawfully wedded Undertale.
There you
I
go.
love.
Monogamous gaming relationships. That's what we're all about here.
I do not do the unlawful marriage thing, okay?
That's so cool.
I'm not an adulterer or a cuckold.
Preaching to the choir, my
stay
man.
with that Undertale.
Amen.
Do you know what a cuckold is?
Yeah, and I'm not cuckolded, okay, by other games.
That's a relief.
I got it on Tuesday. It finally was released for PS4 and Vita. It was a PC game from January of 2016. It's really great. It's got like an 8-bit, 16-bit style of artwork. It was made by a guy named Toby Fox in an engine called Game Maker, which doesn't require any computer programming skills. So he couldn't port it to anything. People have been asking it for years. So finally, like, another company offered to do the porting. Another company who, they're actually from Japan. They do another really great podcast called 8-4-Play. And they did an excellent job. One thing that I'm super happy about finally get a chance to play this is the music is fantastic. Like, I haven't felt so, like compelled to go buy a soundtrack in years, but I think by the time I'm done with this one, I'm going to go out and get it. I real quick want to go over the game, though, just so in case anyone who hasn't heard about it knows. It's a RPG kind of set in the JRPG mold, but instead of like a normal just attack, fight system, you're like a kid who got dropped into a monster world, and you have the ability to never kill or fight any monster in the whole game.
Are you playing that way?
I am trying. So, real quick, the reason why I love the Switch is that it's one copy of the game, and I don't need to play it differently. PS4 Vita doesn't have cross-compatibility for the saves, so I'm playing on PS4 where I'm not killing anyone. I'm playing on Vita where I'm killing everyone. So, and there is like something to be said. Like if you do them both, you actually get like a trophy. And the game's only
trophies, man.
Love trophies.
That's why I play games.
That's why I do it. That's what I'm here for, my bros. But yeah, the game's only like 3 hours, so I'll probably try to do
cool.
both. But I want to give you guys just like an example of the comedy in this game. So you're walking around, like I finally passed like the first area, which is probably 30, 40 minutes into the game. And I come across a bad guy called Lesser Dog. It's a dog in like a plate mail, and you can choose to fight or you can do act. And one of your act moves is to pet the dog. And if you do pet, then the dog gets really excited. And so the way the combat works is you have like a heart. That's what represents you on this grid. And then it's a bullet hell. So when they attack, they drop down all of these different attacks. And depending on how much they like you, you'll have more or less of theirs.
Cool.
It's really, really involved. Like I'm still kind of game. It's just amazing. So after you pet the lesser dog, then then you can spare his life. But it's like there are so many jokes. I've just been like, I rarely laugh at games, but it's great. But I don't want to hog the show.
Oh well, actually, the show is actually about Undertale. Like that's all I have on my notes.
That
here.
was the
podcast.
episode is Undertale.
Yeah.
This is
we
the
talk.
Super Brian Gamescast.
I was hoping that we could actually just watch you play a whole episode
Please.
or
Well,
a
guys-
playthrough, 3 hours.
Is this available on the virtual console?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And guys, I want to let you know you can do that. I brought my PS Vita here today, so we can
Thank
just
you.
watch me
I
play
don't
Undertale.
doubt that at all.
Hashtag Undertale.
Hashtag. Now it's a great game, but it is a year and 9 months old, so I can stop talking about it.
So Jenk, before we get another Undertale tangent, what are you playing, brother?
What am I playing? So, on Sunday I was over at someone's house for like a barbecue, and
Weird, dude.
Yeah, seriously. And they on Steam they had brought out this game called Gang Beast. Have you guys heard of it?
Heard of it?
It is the like weirdest, funnest game in the I've ever played, because the whole objective, you're these little clay guys like Gumby or something, and you're swinging your fists and kicking. You're trying to hit people off of this mat, but when you hit people, they get stuck to you. So like you're trying to knock someone off without them but they can just as easily grab you and fling you off the mat.
Oh, sweet. It's like a battle royale?
It's like a battle royale. That's the whole thing. And they have like 6 different maps that you go on, and each one has like obstacles, and the environments are destructible.
Oh,
Or you can
cool.
pick up things and you can throw them at people, but they get stuck to them too. So it's a pretty fun game. It's weird, but it's a lot of fun. And I have a feeling though, it's kind of like Fusion Frenzy, how you could probably play it for a couple hours and get tired of it. But the novelty of it was pretty cool. And
you play as Pokey, right, the whole time?
oh yeah, for sure. Well, and the
What
block,
are,
the
what are the
blockheads.
characters like though?
They're just clay people with arms and legs. Like there's not really any distinction between them. They're just different colors.
Oh, weird.
Like if you made like a man out of Play-Doh or something, that's just what they would look like. And I finished Hellblade.
Oh, nice.
And I know, can I talk about this? Are you guys
Don't
gonna play it?
spoil the ending, please, like our text thread.
I
It's
really
1 week
want to
old.
talk about this.
You can talk about the game.
All right.
I
Please
really
don't
wanna
spoil
talk
the
about
ending
this.
for a
Josh,
1 week old
It's
game.
hard to not spoil the ending and go into detail about it.
So Josh, you can talk about the game for as long as Brian talked about Undertale. To
Okay.
the second,
All right, deal.
but you can't talk about the ending at all. So you can talk about the mechanics.
It's
You can talk
hard-
about the score. You can talk about the
Jeez.
teeth
You're
of
really
the
limiting
main character.
me here. You're
dogs.
really
The,
limiting me.
the dogs and male. That's it.
Yeah, everyone's like, I looked on those boards and everyone's talking about how like she looks like she has autism. This is because she's actually retarded. Like that's the point of the game. Like she has a mental illness. Like she has psychosis.
Thank you
Did you-
for spoiling the ending.
You
and
already
offending
knew.
people.
we did know
already
that. We
knew.
already talked about that.
So she has. I had to go on Google to find out exactly what she had though. But she has psychosis and schizophrenia.
Did you clear that up on the forums? Did you make sure that those boys knew
Oh, I
what was
did.
going on?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You're
Yeah,
the
for
white
sure.
knight, Josh.
Yep, I'm the white knight.
You're the white knight that we need, but not the white knight we always want. So you can take that to the bank.
And then he
Good,
went on
good.
every thread saying the ending to Sixth Sense too while he was at it, just ruining things for
Yeah,
people.
spoiler alert, he's dead.
Ruining a 15-year-old movie. Sorry.
I know.
And 15 years
All right,
long.
but
to make.
anyways, hey, let me get back
Usual
to
suspects.
talking about
Yes.
Undertale.
Oh, yeah.
Undertale.
All right,
You didn't
Josh.
even play it.
All right, tell us like two cool things about the
Okay,
game.
two cool
that
things
do not
about
have
the
to do with
game.
the mental illness or the ending.
All right, geez, I can't tell you two cool things without
What did you
spoiling
like
the
about the
ending.
game?
I like that it had a lot of puzzles and they weren't like overly difficult to solve. So like you could
Brian, you'd probably like that.
I like that.
because I know there's a lot of times like on Uncharted or God of War, like there's stuff that I actually had to Google to find out how to finish. But with these ones, like there's not that many things on the map, so you can kind of put all the details together in your head.
Sorry about being a dick. Uncharted, you had to Google like a puzzle solution.
Brian, did you finish Uncharted?
I could have.
Okay.
Wait,
All right.
I want to ask him a question. You've been talking about Sonic Mania nonstop, that you're excited for it. It came out on Tuesday. Did you play it?
No.
What is your problem, man? Every time we talk about, oh, that's a game I'm interested in.
My Switch, I told you this, my Joy-Con controllers don't work, so I gotta send them back to Nintendo.
That's not an excuse. You buy a Pro controller, then you buy the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sounds good. Let me just go out and spend $70.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about what games I'm playing.
Okay, wait, Dave, what have you been
Oh,
playing,
my-
man?
All right, that's your one. That's your one, Josh. That's your one thing.
That's
that you
your
get.
one.
No Reggie jokes now. You're on.
Wait,
you're on
Brian.
thin ice.
If Brian gets 13, don't I get? At
Well,
least
that's
half that
a
many?
normal strike for
Well,
me.
I mean, it's
I
kind of
play
a
games
handicap,
differently.
like in golf. You know, you have to play to your.
Can I have a mulligan?
One
You can
mulligan.
choose another CEO from a different company who can visit us once this evening.
That's true. One time.
You hear
Okay.
that, Tesla?
Okay. I'm gonna say what games I'm playing.
That's not a CEO.
This is a.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start enforcing my moderating skills here because I don't feel like I'm being respected.
Sorry. We respect you.
Okay, it's better.
My authority.
Respect my authority. Okay, anyways. I started playing Alan Wake, courtesy of Jank Bank. He let me borrow that sweet game. And I was really looking forward to just like a nice, like, you know, Rhode Island-y lighthouse, you know, scenic drive with the character's wife in the car, you know, pulling up to our new house, maybe seeing one creepy thing on the way. But it wasn't like that at all. It was basically sticking your head in a toilet and flushing from the moment you turn the game on.
Is that frightening?
Yeah, it was that frightening. It's never happened to me personally, but I
What are you talking about, man? There's all those scenes with those kids, and they're just
Yeah,
hanging
the
out and
balloons.
playing,
Yeah.
and it's fun.
yeah, it was fun. It was terrifying. And what I noticed about the game is that the nightmare physics were so real. Like the way that the villain with the axe basically teleports to you after speaking to you from 100 yards away was so cool. And I basically had to turn it off because I was scaring myself. So
What did you think of like the combat, like the shooting and stuff, and the flashlights and?
So I thought the controls were a little jank banky, if you know what I mean. But that's because the game's a little old, and I'm actually not very good at console games, just period, because I'm mostly a PC Master Race boy. So playing, playing.
Did you hear that?
That was weird.
Yeah, what was that?
Playing wasn't Brian. Playing games on the console is just hard in general. So once I play a little bit more, I'll have a more like thorough analysis on that for you. Also playing Diablo 3, playing some more Pi with the boy. And then, me and Tom actually played quite a bit of Diablo Trey the other night. We played some co-op.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Sure did.
It was super fun. I've never played co-op before on Diablo 3, especially like couch co-op. So fun. It's reminiscent of the good old days.
That's the best way to play games that allow couch co-op is if you can get the people there to do it. Who are you playing as? Hopefully not
Crusader, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Your brother's got the right approach to things, okay?
Okay, well, per my usual game rolling, I play the most evil character and the most holy character, just like in WoW. So I did roll a Crusader and get to Act 2 also.
So where are you guys now together?
We are still in Act 1. We are on the way to Laeric's Manor to go check out what's going on.
Do you like playing as the Crusader more or the Necromancer?
Necromancer, way more.
That's more fun?
Yeah, the Necromancer does way more damage than the Crusader. The Crusader is awesome, but his strengths really lie in being a tank bank, and which is why Tom played him. And he does do a lot of damage and has some pretty sweet effects and graphics and things, but that's just nothing compares to the Necromancer's damage. I also rolled a wizard. I was playing, sorcerer. I forget what it's called. Wizard or...
Are you talking about the Witch Doctor, or is there
No,
another...
not the Witch Doctor. There's like a pure mage character.
Witch Hunter, Witch
Demon
Doctor...
Hunter, Witch Doctor, and then there's like a wizard.
Gandalf.
Okay. Dumbledore.
Radagast.
Radagast, 420 the Brown.
420 the Brown.
Anyways, I was rolling the mage character with Tom, and I wasn't impressed. We didn't get super far. I think about like level 6 or 7, so you didn't get a whole lot of spells, but most of the early spells on the wizard are just like buffs and cooldown reductions and mana cost reductions of that. So I thought it was pretty boring.
Can you cast on the people you're playing with?
No, there's no like friendly. What's it called? Friendly fire.
Friendly fire? No, but there's like buffs and heals and things like that allow you to interact.
So you can heal like Tom. You can heal. Okay.
Yeah, you can play a more support character, and the cool thing about Diablo is it's super easy to change your spells and your skills and runes and everything. So depending on who you're playing with and what type of character and things like that, you can all kind of jumble them around, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
Before we leave you, real quick, did you get a chance to play any more Ori?
I didn't play any more Ori this week.
Oh,
Why?
I want to see what you think of the ending, and you're pretty close.
No, I want to keep playing that game. I'm actually in a rut where I'm kind of like just backtracking and looking for old power-ups and things like that, and I'm not exactly sure where to go next.
Yeah, it's the ending has like a little bit of time where you have to like, kind of figure that stuff out, but you're probably pretty close. Did you do the second dungeon yet, or second like cave?
No, is it similar to the Ginsu tree thing?
There's 3 of those.
Yeah, I didn't do the second one yet. I'm just kind of dinking around now.
We'll leave you at that, and then we'll talk more about that when you get further.
Well, that was a fun little game sesh jaw chat, my boys. But I think it's time to put our pencils to the paper, if you know what I mean.
Hell yeah.
I think this is the second week annual, whatever that word is.
Wannual.
Thank you, Brian. Wannual quiz. And I do believe Jankbank is heading that up for us tonight.
Oh, yeah, I do. I am.
Mr. Palderson, please let me know what this quiz is about today.
I hope you guys studied. All right, so I was talking to someone the other day, and they had mentioned the Wii game Red Steel. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Okay, and they were like, hey, it was a launch title for Nintendo Wii. And I was like, how do you remember that? So I know you guys are Nintendo buffs, so I'm like, I'm going to test you guys and see if you remember the launch titles for Nintendo consoles.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
So all you have to do is try to name at least 5, because Wii and Wii U have a whole lot. So
are we doing from Nintendo all the way to Wii U, or where are we starting?
Yeah, we're going to start Nintendo 64.
So what are we going to do when we get to Super Nintendo and there's only 3?
No. We're going Nintendo 64, we're going Wii, Wii U, and then Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay.
These are just the questions, or is this the whole quiz and you're just letting us work it?
So you can think ahead of time, you know?
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to start with Nintendo 64. Name me those launch titles. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Good. Tom?
Gonna be a hard pass on that one.
Well,
You still got to guess, my
All
bro.
right.
Why don't we start with Tom?
Okay, let's start with Tom. Tom, what do you got, man?
Just
throw it out there. If they happen to be members of the Beatles, that's fine too.
John Lennon.
John Lennon. Jonathan
This
Lennon
guy
to
gets
you.
all the points. I'm sorry, guys.
I cannot award you any points.
And we were all dumber after hearing your whatever that thing
That's
is.
quite
from.
all right.
Billy Madison.
All right,
Yeah.
what do you got written down, Tom?
Honestly, I don't even remember what launch titles were. I have been so far out of the game of Nintendo
Games
for a long
that
time.
come out with the console.
N64?
Yeah.
Is that what you
Yeah,
meant?
yeah.
So obviously Nintendo 64 came out, but what games came out with them?
So Super Mario World 64, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask.
No. So
No, we're gonna have to. We'll stop you there. That's okay. It's a good college try. That's what
the
we like to hear.
64, 64.
Okay.
Mario 64. We'll
Dave,
stop you there.
What do you got, Dave?
Okay, so Blast Corps, Pilot Wings.
Okay, Pilot Wings.
Don't tell him because you gotta wait till I get to go too.
All right, go for it. Let's
Tell
see.
me. No, I'm just kidding. Super Mario 64,
Okay.
Shadows of the Empire.
Don't tell him yet. Just keep
going.
going.
Brian
That's
doesn't
all I
want me to
got.
tell you.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay.
So I got it. It's Super Mario 64, Pilot Wings, and I think Wave Race.
Oh, I almost guessed Wave Race.
So it was FIFA Soccer 64,
What?
Pilot Wings 64,
Okay.
Star Wars Shadow of the Empire,
What?
Super Mario 64, Turok Dinosaur Hunter,
No,
Oh,
that was not a
dude.
launch title.
Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey.
I am about to have to freaking pull.
Okay,
a
but not
phone
right now
out.
because I don't want to deal with
Okay.
that.
Hey, let's worry about
Respect
this
the
later.
quiz, Brian.
All right. We launch titles, so there are a whole lot. So just try to guess what you can.
Are we skipping GameCube?
Yeah, we're skipping GameCube.
All right, what's next?
forgot
What's
that
next,
existed.
Cenk?
We launch titles.
We launch titles. So them games that came out when the system was released.
Right.
So I want to make sure I understand you.
Okay.
Okay. Raisins Racing.
All right. When you guys are ready,
Do you want me to go?
Brian,
Yep.
go for it.
Nice. It's Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Wii Sports. I have no clue what else.
Okay, Dave.
So I almost put Legend of Zelda, but I was like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. But now that I hear it, I think it is right. I just did Wii Sports and I did the other Wii one because there's like two dopey Wii game ones that came out.
That's probably true.
Okay, Tom.
I had Wii Sports too.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
didn't really have anything. Yeah, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess probably too.
Okay. All right. Here.
Probably. Did you
Probably.
write it or no?
Didn't write it. Here we go from Brian.
We have Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, Metroid 3,
Ah.
Wii Sports, Red Steel.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to call BS. I literally know that Metroid Prime 3
That's the name of our
came
show.
out
Hey,
2 years
Brian.
after the
Brian,
Wii launched.
I got these answers from Wikipedia. All right.
Oh my
They never
lord.
lie on there.
All right. Respect the quiz. That's all. That's all I
we
can
got
say.
Red Steel,
That is a launch
Tony
title.
Hawk's Downhill Jam, Madden 2007, Dragon Quest: The Masked Queen and the Tower of Mirrors, Super Monkey Ball, Metal Slug Anthology, Trauma Center, Elebits, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Blitz the League, Rayman, Raving Rabbids, SpongeBob, and Cars.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot of games.
I'll let it slide this time, but I promise you Metroid Prime 3 was not a launch title.
Phew. Well, I'm glad he gave you a pass this time, Josh. That would be really
I don't wanna
dangerous
get fired from
otherwise.
It
Easy
was
on my
about
first
to
day.
end, guys. I was
Wow.
about to hit. I'm I'm done with this.
He's gonna walk out.
Okay,
All right.
so what do we got
What's
next?
the next console, Josh?
Wii U. All right, and go. You boys ready? You ready? You got
I
it?
think so, yeah.
All right, I'm pretty sure a lot of these answers on this list aren't true, but we have Amazing Spider-Man.
Wait. You're not gonna let us guess?
Oh, sorry. Guys, tell me your answers.
All right, I'll go first this time.
Okay.
This is like a side-scroller Mario Bros. Game.
Okay. Yep.
Tropic Freeze?
No.
No. And then there's also like the Me Arcade Academy weird thing.
Yeah,
I
something like
forgot that one.
I don't know what it's called, but
It's called oh, that's the best. It's with
It's
like
really
Mario
fun.
Tag and
Yeah.
all those games.
it has a good
The
game.
mini games.
Yeah, there's a Pikmin game.
We're gonna have to get the name from him. I can't remember it.
What did you get, Brink?
I have Mass Effect 3, New Super
Oh,
Mario Bros.
yeah.
U, Batman Arkham City, Assassin's Creed 3. I can't remember what else, but it was a ton of ports from games that were really old and they got for the Wii U. What do you do? You have anything, Tom?
The Mario mini game thing we talked about before, and then I'm guessing Smash Bros. Brawl.
Okay. No, not Smash Bros. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
We got Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel Avengers, Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City, Ben 10, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Darksiders 2, Epic Mickey 2, FIFA Soccer 13, Funky Barn, Just Dance, Little Inferno,
Funky Barn, Just Dance. Are those two different titles, or is that the same?
Those are two different games.
Oh wow.
I wish that was one.
Mass
Funky
Effect
Barn.
3, Mighty Switch Force, Nano Assault Neo, NBA 2K13, New Super Mario Brothers, Ninja Gaiden 3, Nintendo Land. I think that was what you guys were talking
Nintendo
about.
Land.
Yeah, that's it.
Rabbids Land, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Sing Party, Skylanders, Sonic and All Stars Racing, Tank, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Trine 2, Warriors Orochi, Wipeout 3, Your Shape, Fitness Evolved, and Zombie U.
That is an insane launch for.
Is that true? Do you think that many games actually came out?
It was so I know it was 13 games. I don't know how many you just read, but it was about 13 retail.
It's like 13,000.
13 retail games and about 5 or 6 eShop titles came out when it first launched. But yeah, that's crazy to think that the worst selling Nintendo console also had the biggest launch.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny and
I mean,
sad.
besides
Mostly
Virtual
sad.
Boy. Yeah, besides.
I really like the Wii U.
Yeah.
Well, at least the games that I played on it.
I never played it.
Tropic Freeze is one of my top 10 games of all time, though. That game is amazing.
Tropic Freeze.
And then that game, whatever, Nintendo Land, that's a really fun party game.
Yeah, that game is. I wish that was one of the games they were porting to Switch, because that was one of the few games I'm like, I don't want to sell this. I really enjoy playing it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay, you guys ready for the last one?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
All right, this one should be pretty easy. It just came out. Nintendo Switch. Ready. Tom, pick up your pencil. All right, I'm going to have to call your parents.
Please don't.
They're just a stone's throw away.
Yeah, literally.
They're in the garage with us.
They're here. They're making sure we don't cuss on the air.
No cussing allowed, guys.
So they say swearing because it's nicer than cussing.
No swearing.
No swearing.
Ah, butts.
That's okay. Just in moderation. Is nothing the right answer for this, Josh? Because I feel like that's all you guys cried about for like 10 episodes before, right?
Yes, as long as Virtual Console's at the top.
Okay.
It's actually a trick question. There actually
Yeah.
are no launch titles for
The Switch. The Switch isn't real.
Yeah. It's actually a flatter Game Boy.
More flatter.
More flatter.
I'm done. Are you done?
I think so. There's one game I'm thinking of, but whatever. We can stop.
Wrong. What?
Who wants to go first?
Tom will.
I'll go first. The newest Zelda game is the one
There you
that
go.
really comes to
There you
mind.
go.
Okay,
you
you
got
got
the
it.
point.
All right. That's it.
That's the only legit one I got to. I got Zelda, all the indie trash, and then some anime junk. That's
I
all
like how
got.
you put not
I
a
mean,
single title.
Really, you just summarized every game that
I
came
know.
out on the Switch.
I
So,
know.
I mean,
Let me
Full points for me.
regale you
Yes.
guys with the games that came out on the Nintendo Switch.
Let's
Okay.
hear it.
There was I Am Setsuna,
wrong.
Zelda, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild,
Also wrong.
Neo Fast
let him
RMX, Bomberman, Shovel Knight, Snipper Clippers, Just Dance,
Fury Farm, whatever.
1, 2. Oh man, what's that really dumb Nintendo game?
You have it.
1, 2 Switch.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the last one, man.
So you're missing Fast RMX.
No, I put that Neo Fast
Okay,
RMX.
Perfect. All right. I think you're just missing Skylanders and another Shovel Knight game.
No, I said Shovel. Okay, yeah.
Spectre
Spectre
of Torment or
Torment
Treasure
Okay.
Trove.
Treasure
Brian,
Trove.
be specific.
All right,
Okay.
semantics.
I'm sorry.
I think Brank won. I think
All right.
Brank took that quiz.
Hooray! I took the belt from Dave. Now I get all the goodies.
All the goodies. Jank, thanks for teaching us those amazing launch
Life
titles.
skills.
Thanks for
And
enlightening us.
And life skills.
And
And life skills as well.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, that was a fun first sesh. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these. No, I'm just joking. All right, go ahead.
If you're tired of sifting through flea markets for rare and unique games, we can help. Retro City Games in Henderson, Nevada, only 5 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip, has all your favorite gaming staples, classics, and a wide selection of rare games with new stuff always appearing on our shelves. Come in and chat with Nicole or Doug about your love of games and watch as they help you complete your collection or find your childhood favorite. And don't forget, Retro City Games loves trade-ins. So if you have any Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Xbox, PlayStation, or even PC games, come in and visit Retro City Games today. Welcome to the new metropolis of gaming, Retro City Games.
And we're back. This is Stank Bank bringing it back to y'all. We had a nice break, took a quick nap, had some energy drinks, our 5-hour proud sponsor.
I do 6 hour only.
Oh, 6-hour energy, man? Wow.
Just made it right now.
Had to one-up me, huh? Anyways, I think I'm going to take us down to a little place I like to call Stock Corner.
Stock and Dave.
We don't have theme music yet, but we're working on
It's
it.
a work in progress.
Brian's generously contributed that beautiful work of art
That
for
was a
us.
sax solo.
So I don't know if y'all remember, but last week we did a pretty in-depth stock corner visit, and we talked about the plummeting market that was created by North Korea's announcement. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
All right, so in the wake of that, we all projected what we thought various video game stock companies would be at a month from last Thursday. So just to reiterate what we all voted on, Nintendo, Jake said 43, Josh said 44, Brank said 45, and I said 44.34. That's what it'd be in a month. So right now, Nintendo's hovering at 41.23. So they've already recuperated almost $1 worth of loss from last Thursday. So things are kind of bouncing back from the North Korea stuff. And I won't get too into the details of the Activision and EA, but long story short, both companies have bounced back quite a bit. So Activision Blizzard was at 60.21 last week, 61.37 today. EA 113.99 last week, and that's 16.47 today. And I think, Brank, you wanted me to start following Ubisoft. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are trading at 12.85 today. So
Are they just like way lower than every single other group there that you just mentioned?
okay, so it's interesting because stocks are at different prices, right? Like we just kind of went through it, and Nintendo's 40, Activision's 60, blah, blah, blah. So the prices of stocks are set by the company.
Yeah.
They and then adjusted by the market. So even though a company's stock is relatively lower in value to like Activision or EA, whose stock is trading above $100, it doesn't necessarily mean that the company is worth less. Or, I mean, Ubisoft is a smaller company next to these other companies here, but it's not necessarily an indication of value, if that makes sense.
So if Ubisoft only makes games, so do we see an increase like when they have an increase of product hitting the market?
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is tied to it. Ubisoft is on the rise lately because I think they do have a lot of big games coming out, and they are a successful company. I know we do talk a lot of trash on the Assassin's Creed games, but it's still a successful company, and they're actually not for the most part, but about 10% of the company is still owned by the brothers, like by the head of the company,
Eves
and his two bros.
GMO.
Yeah, they own about 9% of the company, which is pretty cool. And you don't really think about that kind of stuff when you think about a AAA studio like Ubisoft, but it's kind of cool. It still has like a family thing going on. So real quick, I wanted to drop two stock-ish related news articles on y'all. So starting with Nintendo. Nintendo was actually sued pretty recently. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah.
Over the design of the Switch tablet?
Yeah, exactly. So this company called GameVice, they make these little hardware adapters that they link up to your phone, and it allows you to play mobile games a little easier on your phone. So there's actual buttons and joysticks and things like that. It's pretty cool. They filed the patent. I think it was a couple years ago they received the patent, and this was well before the Switch was even revealed, actually. So it's interesting because this design, this sort of like screen controller snap-on feature, they had the patent well before the Switch. So anyways, the Switch comes out, and Switch is killing it. Has I think they had a $1.4 billion in revenue this year, and so they're doing super well. Anyways, this company sues them for patent infringement. So I mean, we'll see what happens with it. Do you guys think that they have a case?
How do you prove it? How do you prove who's right and who's wrong?
That's a super complicated question, and that's where patent lawyers make millions and billions of dollars every year. They literally pore over the patent applications, things called prior art, which are things that predate the design of the patent, that are kind of like just further proof that these people were developing and creating this idea before the other person. And it's about kind of the first to file, whoever filed the patent first, things like that. So there's a lot to it, and it's super technical, and I'm not a patent attorney, so I can't speak to it any further than that. But essentially, it comes down to all these various processes and arguments and things like that. One of the cool challenges about patent art is obviously it's super complicated, but having attorneys explain it to a jury occasionally. So basically trying to create or dumb down this super complicated thing to something that you and me can understand just in a jury setting. So it's kind of cool. Anyways,
Can
though,
you change and become a patent attorney, please?
you can. I'm not going to do that. You have to take a separate bar to become a patent attorney. And you can only sit for it if you have either a technical undergraduate degree or you've worked for like 200 hours as an engineer or something like that.
So you need to know how to be a lawyer and open a laptop.
What do you
Exactly.
Think, What do you think the validity of this lawsuit is, though? Because Nintendo was working towards this idea with the Wii U. That was pretty much that came out in 2012, which you said they've owned the patent for 10 years already.
2 years. Sorry.
2 years. They've owned the patent for only 2 years. Oh, because like the Wii U, the reason why it was like locked to the hardware, like the actual console that you hook up to your TV, is because it wasn't powerful enough to get the results they wanted. And we've just recently reached that. So I feel like this is one of the mini lawsuits. Like this is going to music, which is non-game related. But when Coldplay was sued multiple times for Viva La Vida, like that, yeah, sure, you could prove that, hey, this melody had moments from, I think, Joe Satriani and a few other people like sued them. But at the same time, they could have just come up with it on their own, and it's just a similar concept.
Yeah. Well, music litigation is actually super complicated, and also, like you said, just like almost subjective, because there's that age-old saying from the Bible and from the Beatles and almost everything else, there's nothing new under the sun, and it really comes out in music litigation, just like what you were saying.
What do you think, Tom? We brought you on here just for this question. What do you think about this lawsuit?
I think what you guys have said is really on point. I think especially with the music point, and I like what David just said about the new under the sun. That's definitely very true. You even see some artists out there copying their own work. You see someone like John Williams or someone like Hans Zimmer. They're excellent artists, excellent composers. They've been in tons of movies for everything you can name that's out there. They're big budget blockbusters, and you hear even similar melodies from movie to movie. So I think
if they were bipolar, could they sue themselves?
I think so.
Is that a
That's
thing?
the new law.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm not really sure the validity of this case.
Real quick, though, to what Tom said, you mentioned John Williams. We were actually watching a hilarious retranslation of Star Wars Episode 3, and Dank himself, a.k.a. the Lady Donna, who will be joining us next week back from the dead, ready to break some bread, noticed that in that movie, John Williams copied a melody that he used in Hook, which is like it's the craziest.
Yeah.
And he's been known to copy himself like plenty of times, but I just find it a funny thing because he makes all this stuff, and I would have probably done it as well because you're just making so much music. But it's just a really, really funny thing to think like, yeah, a person like totally pointed out that's the exact same melody from another movie, same composer.
It's interesting. I took a music composition class or a soundtrack like composition class at Cal State. I'm a musician, but I'm not like a composer or anything. I just did it for fun. And it was super cool because the guy who did it, he composes a lot of scores for like Disney TV shows and commercials. He's not big time, but he is super successful at that niche of composing. Anyways, he was telling me that because we were actually talking about that one night about, John Williams and Hans Zimmer, they all repeat the same whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's because good composers have a bag of tricks. They're so busy and they have to write so many little cues and whatever. They just kind of like know the feeling that they want to write, and they have in their mind like, oh, this key is this feeling and these instruments. So they just kind of like, it's like a formula for them. And then every once in a while it kind of repeats, or there's, bleed over.
For Hans Zimmer, it's funny you mentioned that. Hans Zimmer actually has like a team of people who work for him.
Yeah.
That are non-credited musicians that he pays
Starving
to write
kids.
his music.
Good old Hans. So anyways, that's the Nintendo litigation. We'll see what happens with it. It was just filed. Nintendo hasn't even responded to the complaint yet. We'll see what happens. A lot of the case is resting on the timing of the patent, and then the timing of when Nintendo started working on this, and then also the bridge concept, which is really what the case is hanging on. There's this bridge component to their patent application, and it's what connects the two controllers. And they're trying to say that the phone or the tablet or whatever is that bridges the two handheld devices is being infringed upon by the Switch's like center console piece.
Which is crazy to me because I don't think Game Vice actually made two separate controllers, which the Switch uses.
It's true.
I think
It
they
should be a
made
patent
It's
lawyer.
like a dock.
they made a single like controller that could rip on and off, but not a double like left and right separate controller.
Well, that's an interesting point. I don't know enough about that controller to look at it, but that would be an interesting distinction.
Real quick though, so say I know you're not a patent lawyer, and you just said that, but
Wait, are you a patent?
I am now. I am actually.
Okay. Hey, Dave took the online course. So if Nintendo loses, how does that work? Do they have to redesign their Switch controller, or do they have to pay royalties to the Game Vice?
It just depends on what Game Vice asks for, what they plead for, and then what the judge decides, or what they settle for. So there's a lot of different outcomes that could happen. I think those are both very likely outcomes if this case isn't thrown out. There are several instances during a patent litigation lifespan where the case could be thrown out. There's this hearing where the judge looks at, like, okay, this is what everyone's got. Do we have enough material here to take this to court? No, throws it out. So we'll see what happens.
I've heard that they're trying to get the Switch taken out of stores, which is already done right now.
I mean, that's just like an initial complaint tactic. You ask for the world and hopefully you get a city, or hopefully you get a town, you know?
Or like a lifetime of Splatoon 2.
I mean, they're getting their dream. Nintendo Switch is selling out of all the stores, man. Yeah. It's not even on the store shelves.
That's true. Yeah, actually, maybe that's why they ask, because they will get it.
You were mentioning Ubisoft, though, and they had low stocks, and
low-valued stocks.
Low-valued stocks, and you mentioned, though, that they had something happen. It's actually a little bit old, but you were mentioning something really cool to me earlier?
Yeah, I was.
Not cool, I guess.
I was just getting there. So
don't rush them, Brian.
Do you guys know what a hostile takeover is? I feel like I'm in one right now.
I always hostile take
That's when everything. A company buys high percentages of your stocks, right? And they try to push you out.
Yeah. So when you're a publicly traded company, obviously your stock is out there in the open for people to buy. And so certain times companies will make a play for your stock, and they'll buy 10, 15, 25% at a time, which usually is an inclination that they want to take your company over. And this will happen if the other company isn't agreeable to being acquired. So in the case of Ubisoft, there's a company called Vivendi. Are you guys familiar with Vivendi?
Yeah.
So Vivendi used to own Activision and Blizzard. And just a couple years ago, I think it was 2013 or so. Yeah, a few years ago, they accepted a buyout from Activision Blizzard for almost $6 billion. So Vivendi no longer owns Activision, but Vivendi is a French conglomerate company, and they're very into investing in video games. So video game studios. So currently, Vivendi owns 25% of Ubisoft, which is a pretty big portion, pretty big deal too, considering that the brothers we just talked about, they only own about 10%. So this company owns more shares than like the founding brothers of this company, which is kind of crazy. And another interesting aspect of it is under French law, if you own 30% of a company, there is sort of like a mandatory attempt that you have to take to try to buy out the rest. So it triggers your obligation, or in this case, right or benefit, to try to take over a controlling share.
I was reading this article about the one of the people who I guess owns or CEO of Vivendi or whatever, and they were saying that they are denying allegations of wanting to buy it, but everything you see
takeover.
Yeah, but everything you see them doing says otherwise.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. A few analysts have been reporting that they are interested in gaining more ownership. I mean, Vivendi is they're business guys, and actually that's how Ubisoft, the brothers Yves and his guys, that's how they describe Vivendi. And I thought that was interesting because we always think of Ubisoft and like AAA studios as, oh, they're the financial guys. They don't really know what's cool and what's popular and stuff. But they, whether or not that's true, they see other people like that as well. Could be PR, but it's just interesting to kind of look at things from that perspective, which is...
Well, to take this way back to, I feel like episode 14 or 15 or 13 even, we were talking about E3, and we all kind of enjoyed the Ubisoft presser, like their presentation at E3. And I think one of the most emotional moments was when the CEO of Ubisoft went on stage with all of the different development teams that he ran, like Michel Ancel and all the rest of them. And it was just kind of like a really cool moment. There were tears. I feel like Ubisoft is actually probably a pretty cool family-owned thing. And Vivendi may deny that they're doing a hostile takeover, but I believe Yves' brother owned a company called Gameloft. It was
they did, yeah.
The iOS makers and iOS app makers. They made a bunch of iOS games. And I believe Vivendi took them over.
They own it now. Yes, they do.
So they're probably gunning for Ubisoft as well.
I'm sure you're right. Vivendi is a really weird company because, like you said, they own this company, they own whatever, but they're actually owned by a French water control company.
What?
Yeah, Vivendi is like one wing of this super massive. What's that company in Wally, Tom? By and Large or something like that.
Yep, B&L.
Yeah, B&L that owns the world basically. I feel like that is a contender to own the world someday. It's called Veolia or something like that.
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard. Oh, is that
He's the CEO
Oh
of B&L.
yeah, he's awesome.
That's like GE and 30 Rock.
Yeah.
It's funny to me to see like these companies that just want everything, and they like Vivendi actually owns a really great game called No One Lives Forever. It came out the same time as Half-Life 2 or right around then. And everybody wants to see a remake, but they own it and they don't make games anymore as of now. So, they technically own Gameloft.
What will happen to franchises like Assassin's Creed or Rainbow Six or any of those things if Vivendi takes over? Will they keep Ubisoft people on staff, or do you think
We
they'll?
don't know.
Well, look at what they did with Activision Blizzard. A lot of people, well, I don't know about a lot of people, but some people contribute Activision's growth to being purchased by Vivendi.
Okay.
So Vivendi is a company that is probably mostly interested in flipping companies. Like they look at a video game company or studio like an asset. Hey, if I invest in this company, put some money here, put some leadership in there, I can make a profit. And they purchased, or they got all their money back and more when they accepted the buyout from Activision Blizzard, $6 billion. So that's kind of probably how they're going to view Ubisoft. So they would keep a lot of the lower level talent. They'd probably ice the leadership, save for a few people, and just run the company cheaper. That's what they would do. So what makes Ubisoft valuable as an asset is Assassin's Creed, is Rayman, is whatever, all the other huge franchises that we know and love.
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
All of them.
Yeah, they're all big. So they wouldn't ice any of those because that would be just like cutting off revenue streams. So to your point, Josh, you can sleep easy. Even if Ubisoft is hostily taken over, those games will most likely still exist, and probably more so. They'll probably be cranking them out even faster.
All right.
Anyways, though, I've been talking for way too long.
This was pretty rad.
Who's got some news stories for us? Brank, do you have a news story for our tushes?
Yeah, so it was recently revealed that Eve Valkyrie, one of the first VR games for, I believe, Oculus Rift, but definitely the first one for PSVR, announced that their next expansion is dropping the requirement to have VR to use it. And I find this interesting in conjunction with that Oculus Rift also started dropping their price for the Rift headset. It was originally $600 for the headset and $200 for the touch controllers.
They were experiencing some financial problems, weren't they?
Yeah, but they're owned by Facebook, so they can't really have that
explains
many financial problems. But their whole get up, their headset and their two touch controllers is now MSRPing at $400.
What was it originally?
$800 for both of them.
Dang.
So it dropped 50% in, I want to say, a year and a half.
Have you ever played a VR game on Oculus Rift? It's so inconvenient.
Yeah, so I haven't. I know that a big problem that everyone has is the cords, the cables.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to like
You're
walk
like
around
swimming
it.
in wires.
And it sounds like a really cool idea. It sounds like a cool thing for some place to own that you can visit and use. But as a consumer product, it just seems like it's not catching on. And from the beginning of this podcast, we've talked about our love of VR products.
Yeah.
And I just find it funny that this is happening where games that are made for VR are now dropping the requirement of VR, which is...
That's huge. And what are
Wait,
those games going to do?
What does that mean, though? What do you mean dropping the requirement
So
of VR?
if you want to play Valkyrie, a game that you needed a VR headset for, you can now. You don't need any VR
you just
headsets.
plug it into your TV?
I mean,
or
you
your
just play
computer?
the game on your Xbox or your
Oh,
PSVR
nice.
or
It's
PlayStation
isolating.
or whatever.
Are
Yeah.
they still going to support people who do have VR? Because that would be a huge slap in the face to companies like Oculus Rift.
As of now, they are. But
Interesting.
what happens maybe 2 expansions down the road when it becomes too
Yeah.
expensive to run the VR headset?
Do you think this is a trend? Like, this is going to start happening with other, like, Sony VR?
PSVR, I'm not exactly sure, but I did remember hearing the Giant Bomb guys discuss right when the Oculus Rift came out, and there was a shortage at the beginning. People were trying to get them. But the Jeff Gerstmann, like the head of Giant Bomb, he tried getting into a match of Eve Valkyrie online, and he couldn't find more than 2 players to play against. So it's a troubling sign. From what I've heard from the people who own it and love it, and we're hopefully going to have that guy on soon, it's an amazing piece of hardware.
For bachelors with expendable incomes
And a
who
second room.
Yeah, exactly. Who can have a whole room devoted to your VR. I mean, it's not very practical.
Yeah, I just find it so. I was kind of mind boggled that this is one of the first games. Also, another game when the Oculus Rift came out was called Lucky's Tale. It was made by I can never remember his name. He was the face of Oculus Rift, but he said some pro-Trump comments, so he pretty much got ousted.
Yeah, I remember that.
Lucky Palmer, that's his name. And I believe he was a part of Lucky's Tale's development. But anyways, Xbox One is getting Super Lucky's Tale this, I want to say November,
cool.
for Xbox One and Xbox One X. And it doesn't have any VR at all. No VR support, nothing. So it's just a strange thing to see something that everybody was like so gung-ho on, like, we're going to make this work. They had billions in investments going into this thing. Everybody was thinking that's how we'll watch football games in the future. And that still might be the case, but it doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon. You also, Josh, before the show, you mentioned that there was another game that dropped PSVR support recently?
Well, it was a PS VR game that got canceled. It was the Prompto shooter that they had, the Final Fantasy.
But are they going to keep their fishing VR game?
I don't know. Like, I haven't heard anything about it yet.
Because that was
I
supposed.
know at E3 it was playable, and there are people out there playing it, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it since then.
The girl ogling PSVR experience. Yeah, this new one though that they're it's supposed to be a fishing game for Final Fantasy 15 in VR coming out this November. I'd be surprised if they canceled that. I wouldn't be surprised if they canceled what you talked about because the negative press was abundant on that one.
Was it just like sexist or something?
It was just so half of it was shooting, and the other half. Well, here, Josh, you can explain. I explained way too much.
Prompto's character in Final Fantasy 15, he's like
he's a womanizer.
He's a womanizer. He's obsessed with women, and there's like Cindy, the
the
Sid's daughter,
Southern
and
girl.
she just had like
the babe,
her bouncy bust the entire time, like the camera just focused on it. So I think that was a lot of the you can't have a game with Prompto and not have busty babes.
See, that's an interesting
somewhere.
topic.
I think you could easily have a game with Prompto and not have busty babes everywhere.
That is Prompto's character.
The Prompto DLC probably did not have busty babes everywhere.
I'm just wondering if they've made a conscious decision to do that because it's VR to try to like sell more.
I heard that people in the E3 lines, and that was E3 2016, not this year's E3. E3 2016, people were like acting very strange when they did play it. It was uncomfortable for the people in the line. So
walking away crouched over. Or what
it's just dumb and stupid.
Mother of God.
So,
Tom, have you played any VR? You played that one weird horror game or something, right?
I was at a friend's house, and our buddy had just brought this VR experience over. It was just like when it was first kind of revealed.
It took him an hour to set it up.
About an hour set up, and basically we got like the most like horror. Like one of the guys likes loved watching horror movies, loves being scared, so he put the experience
from The
on
Office.
him. Basically, yeah. And he loved it until the girl came out of like the TV.
I've never played it. Have you guys played that?
It's a pretty.
What is it?
It's one of those like horror games when you first like part of the VR experience, and they kind of added on. It's like part of like the launch that they brought on. But yeah, it was a pretty fun game. I didn't personally partake in it. I've seen like video of it, but
you didn't play it, but you watched your friends play it.
Were
they jumping out of their chairs?
Yeah, they actually fell out of their seats. No joke.
How do you watch your friends play VR though? Can you see does it project on the screen?
You can watch what they're seeing.
Okay.
You're just not in there with them.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, like you can actually see. You can go on YouTube and actually look these videos up if you really want to, as part of the VR launch when they first revealed him. But I didn't actually put the goggles on because I've heard it's actually pretty terrifying if you actually put yourself into it. But I've heard it's a lot of fun to do it though. What
were the graphics like? Because a lot of the VR games I played are very low res, polygonal.
Absolutely. I think I would say it's somewhere like N64 graphics, like you are in like a Mario 64 type of
that's
world.
What I got.
It's still, but that can make it even more scary just because of how weird everything looks.
Oh, interesting. I haven't thought about that.
If you guys ever watch the show Impractical Jokers on True TV, what they do is they put this guy, this VR experience, and they actually, when he takes the goggles off, they recreate the environment he was just in. And this guy is also super scared of little girls, like the Ring type of stuff. And so he takes the goggles off and he's like, oh my gosh, like, look where I am.
Is that the guy they always mess with? Is it?
He's the bald guy?
Murr's the guy they always mess with. But
you watched that show too, Josh?
Yeah, I've seen it a few
awesome
times.
show.
Yeah.
But Sal is the guy who's deathly terrified of like any kind of horror like theme that there is. One more quick plug I want to make about VR too is that you can kind of see with sports kind of hopefully coming along soon. If you go on StubHub and if you buy a ticket for your next gaming experience, you can actually hit the VR setting with an iPad, especially helpful. You can actually carry the iPad and you can actually see where you're going to be sitting and looking down the field.
That's kind of cool.
From where your seat would be.
Have you guys seen at Disneyland, they've got a new building going up where you can actually, they have QR codes and you scan, like they have posters for old rides and you scan it.
That's right.
And you go home and it's like a VR experience of what the ride used to be
That's pretty
like.
cool.
Yeah.
But real quick, though, these are different experiences because you can run them on an iPad from the actual VR headsets you need. So these are things that you can do on like a, I want to call them Gear VR. They're like a $20 box.
Yeah, like the ones that strap onto your phone or
Google
whatever. But it's
Glass
still
or whatever.
VR.
Yeah, that was
it's
a great
still
idea.
VR.
That's a prototype idea.
But it's not Oculus Rift. Yeah,
I'm just saying, like the big budget box VRs, the ones that are costing $600 to $800.
Yeah, we changed the subject. Hopefully that's okay.
It's all under the umbrella of VR, but I was just kind of making a plug for StubHub saying you can get a VR experience and kind of see what the future might hold down the road.
No, it's cool. I mean, like Brian was saying, the technology has dropped 50% and it hasn't even been out that long because it's like, I don't know, but we're just not ready for it or what it is, but it's like inconvenient.
I think it's way too expensive. Like the things that they mentioned and why I brought that up is these Gear VR things, you can buy those for $50, $100. Those things are going to last. The things that you're talking about where you can have a VR experience where you hold an iPad and look where you're going to sit, because that's a lot of people own an iPad. Are a lot of people going to want to pay for a $1,000 PC that can then pay for an $800 headset?
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the fact that you have to have a legit gaming rig to run all this junk.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I didn't mean like I don't want to change the subject.
No,
I just mean like
giving you a hard time.
They these things that they're talking about, they're really good, useful, innovative things that you can do with VR
that are cheap and are on things that you probably already own.
Yeah,
it's a lot more accessible.
But gaming VR just seems like if it is gonna take off, it's still a long ways away from doing that.
Totes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to have to crack down 3 times on that stuff.
What?
Josh, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, also,
that was my segue. That was my segue into Josh.
Sorry, I was trying to. I was
I
looking
love
up.
how you set him up.
Oh, Josh, sorry, we're gonna have to pause you on that.
Okay.
Tom, what's
just
that?
a quick thing. They're adding a Star Wars VR experience at Downtown Disney. They're gonna so if you're gonna get your watch at Fossil over, they're gonna
Which I do every time I go. I get a
they're
new
taking
watch.
it out in a month, and they're gonna
course.
be breaking ground on a Star Wars VR experience. Just want to put it out there.
For
Do you
what?
know what
like
it
Star
is?
Tours or is it Star Wars?
It's like a Star Wars. I think it's like a continuing adventure experience,
Oh.
not derivative of the movies at all. It's kind of like a brand new thing that the guests can. They haven't put a whole lot of news about it out yet, but that's what I know so far in the
That's
teaser.
cool.
And I know this is very just geocentric for us, but do you know if it's taking the spot of House of Blues?
No, actually,
It's a bowling alley now.
The House of Blues is now it's called Splitsville. It was Splitsville in Orlando, and what they do is they basically build floors or stories upon stories because there's not much real estate over there. So there's a bowling alley across the street, and they're also moving House of Blues across the street over at Garden Walk. in
Who
Anaheim.
likes bowling alleys? Does anyone
Will
bowl?
there be live music at the bowling alleys?
As far as I know, there'll be very, very good food, like including burgers and fries, your basic American food,
rare
right?
cuisine.
Rare cuisine, exactly.
Rare.
But they have it's a good dining experience, they say, and of course your 4-hour validation because they're really cracking down on the parking over there.
Yeah,
at
Tom
downtown
actually
Disney.
works for this bowling alley.
They
I
don't-
do. I'm a physical therapist and I do bowling alley.
They have
Any injuries that happen in the lanes, I'm there.
And by 4 hour, I think you mean 2 hour validation.
Yeah, I
Did
think-
they really cut it down?
Well, it's actually it's 2 hours
Free.
but
Yeah.
you have to spend $20 on some kind of sit down restaurant place. So if you
Yeah.
want to order a sandwich, you have to spend $20 or more.
Is that because people were parking there and going into Disneyland?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it used to be.
I'm gonna cut this conversation short. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
What? We love Disneyland. This is super Disney BS.
Well, I know.
I
We're-
thought this was
we're-
the Disney podcast, guys.
Hey, we're
You guys
cracking
called me.
down on time wasting, right?
Josh,
This
what a
is-
beautiful segue. I can't believe no one's thought of that.
Super DS.
Super DS. Jenkins Stank. What is what are you talking to us about?
All right. So, are you guys fans of the game Crackdown? Have you played the first or second
I
one?
know it and I love it.
All right. So in 2014.
Wait, real quick. I want to say I played the first one. I didn't play the really crappy second one. So
yeah,
continue.
I played the first one. That's probably my favorite. I didn't really care much about the second one. But in 2014 at E3, they announced Crackdown 3 is coming out. Okay, and originally it was slated to be released last fall, I want to say.
I don't think they gave us a date when they first announced it 3 years ago.
that was the prediction, and now they finally gave us a solid release date of this fall.
Yeah, this E3.
And then now it's getting pushed back. So my question to you is, I've seen it. I've seen people play it. It was at E3. My question to you guys is, do you think that we're going to have another scale-bound situation where the game just becomes too much for them? Because they haven't specified when it's going to come out.
They said spring.
They said it's spring, but they haven't given us an official release date. And according to the guy, Polygon, the developers say they just want to make sure it's like the right quality game. But what do you think is it about this game that is making it so difficult for them to develop?
Well, I've heard the game is really, really janky right now. There's 2 separate studios handling it. There's a multiplayer studio that's dealing with everything co-op and everything that's not single player, and there's a single player studio. I can't remember which one's dealing with which. But the biggest problem is everyone who played it said it just doesn't handle great. I don't remember if... I want to say that was on the multiplayer side. That's the server side one. And
that's why people play it, though, for like the multiplayer and the co-op
yeah, but that's
stuff like that.
They want to give it time.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Microsoft is a huge corporation. We all know that. I think Bill Gates is supposed to be the first trillionaire on Earth. They probably don't want to put much more money into something like an Xbox if it's not going to make the money. So I don't think they're going to drop this game that they probably already dumped $50 to $150 million into at the last 3 quarters.
Do you think, though, that it has anything to do with the Xbox One and wanting to meet those specs of that console?
You mean the Xbox One X?
Xbox One X, yeah.
I mean, that's anybody's guess. I think it's because everybody said that the game wasn't handling well. Like, all the previewers said, hey, this feels a little rushed. They should wait. And the first article that announced it said, hey, they seemed like they took the right idea and actually waited.
I think it's good that a game is being pushed back. Obviously, if it's being pushed back inevitably and ultimately dropped, I mean, that's too bad. But I like it when games take a little longer. Like the Blizzard polish mentality.
Right. I mean, it should. If they need to take time on it to make it better, that's one thing. But I don't think that they should be announcing games and then taking 4 or 5 years to put them out.
That's something we've talked about on the show before. Just like over Andy or Eager Andy jumping the gun, that sort of thing. I'd rather just not hear about it and then find out about it a month before it's actually going to release.
Shigeru Miyamoto said that a good game will be good when it's finished. A bad game will always be bad. So the idea is
that's a good saying.
If you ever come out with the game, you'd rather have it to be good than just make the game and then it's terrible.
That's true.
Right.
That's a good point.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. Josh, are you looking forward to that game?
Yeah, I mean, I want to play it. I'm interested in playing it, but I don't want to play it if it's going to be bad. So I mean, I'm down for waiting. I just am curious, like, why it's taking so long. I guess is the question.
Which studio makes it, or which studios?
It's a Microsoft Studios game. I cannot remember which. They have like a dual joint studios working on it. It's an incredible game though because the multiplayer stuff is handled with their cloud processing, which they totally talked up when the Microsoft Xbox One came out because I think Microsoft has the best cloud services out there. They own Azure. They originally owned something else, but they had to change the name because
it's Regent Games and Sumo Digital.
Oh, Sumo Digital. Are they doing the multiplayer or the single player?
Yeah, they're doing the multiplayer.
So Sumo Digital they're another one of those hidden companies, like I mentioned earlier, that makes tons of games and ports, and nobody ever hears about them. They're like hired by EA and all the other companies to finish stuff.
Okay, so it says here it's supposed to run in true 4K. So I mean, maybe that's what's taking the extra time. I'm just curious. I don't know. Like, I know the last time we were waiting forever for a game, which was Scalebound, or that was me personally. It got the axe.
You were the only one.
Yeah.
Hey, it did look cool, though.
I would have liked to see it come out. Do any of us own 4K TVs here?
I don't. Donna does.
Yeah, Donna does. So I think he was mentioning getting an Xbox One X. It sounds awesome. I'd like one just for the speed of. It's supposed to increase load speeds.
The TV itself.
The Xbox One X. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm not very interested in the Xbox One X qualities beyond like load speed increase.
Yeah, the load speed would be nice, but how much is that console going to be?
$500.
Oh my
so
God.
I'm not going to pay for it.
It's ridiculous. Tom, what can you tell us about the next big game?
I know we've been waiting so long. It's maddening.
It's maddening. Madden NFL 18. Now you guys know that EA Sports is putting
What
out.
is Madden?
What is Madden?
I'm joking.
John Madden, the broadcaster.
It's a hockey
What's
game.
a football?
It's like
The game of
soccer,
football
right?
is played with.
Okay.
So football
sorry, cut you off.
Americano.
Yes.
Basically, Madden NFL 18. EA Sports puts out a yearly copy of Madden each year, and I know it can
Cash cow.
It can be an eye roller because it's like the Call of Duty coming out every Veterans Day. But this one promises to be different because it employs something called the Frostbite engine, which is used by EA company for titles that you guys may know: Star Wars Battlefront 2, and you have Mass Effect Andromeda, things like that.
Our favorite game.
Actually, Dank mentioned the specific engine on the last episode he was on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a problem because they had to make Mass Effect Andromeda for the Frostbite. Real quick, I don't want to interrupt you too long, but
go ahead.
You'll have 20 minutes to interrupt you, and then we'll get
ahead.
right back.
You'll be able to finish.
Right back.
Frostbite was created by DICE, the creators of Battlefield 1, and many other games. But I just want to throw that in there because it's a crazy impressive engine.
Yeah. Well, that's
Brian.
one thing they've said that they want to do with is that they want to make, because every year you'll see a big jump from one year to year. So maybe like Madden 08 to 09, there was a huge change. Then from the years after that, it seemed very dangerously similar. Like, why am I paying $60 a year for this game?
Yeah, for stat changes and team balances.
Updating and stuff like that. But the biggest question that you guys have is probably, so the Frostbite, they basically make the environments look better, more authentic gameplay, puts you in control. If you like watching games on Sundays, but you cannot control the outcome because your team sucks and loses in the very end, now you have a controller and you can actually control the outcome, especially if you're a football junkie like I am.
Or a
like
Chargers
sports.
fan like you are.
Well, actually, I've kind of renounced them, actually, because because their ownership has been terrible. It's a long story for a different podcast. Anyway.
They don't even know who the Chargers are. Sorry.
They're actually the Los Angeles Chargers now.
Oh, wow.
Playing
Impressed.
Playing at StubHub. But I've just become more of a fan of the game. No emotional ties. It makes it way more enjoyable. So for Madden, you guys have heard of the GOAT edition, correct? So
what is from the post that you...
From the post that I put out. So the GOAT refers to...
How many goats there are in the game?
It's a goat simulator. Exactly.
But it's not Goat Simulator, the game, right?
No, it's a simulator of the simulator.
They keep the field trimmed, right?
Actually, yeah, exactly. Actually, there are 5 goats in this game. Actually, you mentioned it. GOAT basically is greatest of all time. So Tom Brady has been referred to as the greatest of all time because he just won his 5th Super Bowl championship last February.
By cheating.
Yeah, run out of fingers.
Can you...
Bill Belichick Film School.
Can you set the football, deflation levels? Is that a thing?
You actually can, PSI adjustment and things like that.
Wait, you really can do that in the game?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
No.
hilarious.
What the GOAT edition offers is basically they've done things like Madden Ultimate Team, which basically you assemble your dream fantasy football team on. You can actually play it. Basically, you pick from one of 5 players who are considered all GOATs. So
who are the other goats?
So Tom Brady, you have Ray Rice, you have Ray Lewis. I don't say Ray Rice. Jerry Rice. You have Deion Sanders, and then a few others that or only 2.
Gandalf
the Grey, and Radagast.
Is Brett Favre on there?
I don't think he's one of the goats. No.
Oh, okay.
Because he's had so many bad records recorded.
Yeah, the Wrangler commercials. Jonathan
Madden.
Well, and also in addition to the goats, you can also pick any favorite player you have from your favorite team and basically start your own career and franchise from there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they offer a couple of different, basically improved franchise and career modes because they've just been kind of slapped together the last moment. Oh yeah, we got to do a career mode, so they'll kind of throw you a little mode there. So basically, you follow your team as they go on live throughout the season. So you play one team a week, and you make the preparations and the draft picks and things like you would do normally, but it puts you in control.
So it's like a manager simulator, and you get to play as well.
Exactly. So they've been doing this for a couple years, but it just hasn't been what players want it to be. But it's been improved, and now you can take control of players who are considered the greatest at their positions and go from there.
So so this feature's been in the game for a while, this team management simulator, but why hasn't it been up to snuff?
They just have been making it's very, very simple decisions, very rudimentary, very elementary. It's do you want to do this or this for your team? It's you pick yes or no. So now it gives you way more control. The best part about it is probably managing a player and then leading your team to a Super Bowl. That's probably the biggest point of the game.
Tom, did you get a read about their story mode? I guess it's really, really good. It's 4 hours long, but it's really kind of an emotional...
The long shot?
Yeah, I heard it's great.
It's pretty awesome. It's actually narrated by...
Morgan Freeman?
Not Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
He narrates everything.
But it was actually put out by Spike Lee. Spike Lee actually helped design the storyline. And you basically follow the story of a player who has almost no shot to make it in the NFL. comes from humble beginnings, and you basically take control
Invincible,
of it.
right? With Mark Wahlberg.
I was just gonna say that.
Vince Papale, yeah.
Or the Tony Danza movie, Philadelphia field goal kicking, garbage
right.
picking,
Right,
whatever.
the garbage man who joins the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles have been in a lot of Disney movies. I feel
Yeah,
like.
there's also a sunny. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. There must be some truth to that legend because I feel like there's a lot of shows that play on that.
The Eagles,
Anyway, sorry.
Eagles are a very snake-bitten, heartbroken team, like the Chargers are. Like no championship, so it's like they're very lovable losers, if you will. So it's easy to make films about them. But yeah, basically you're following the story of a player who has almost no shot to make NFL, and you play in his quest to make it.
It's kind of cool.
Also, the GOAT edition, when you pre-order it today, you can actually get it 3 days early, and that's why it costs $80 instead of $60.
Whoa.
Because you're getting improved modes in the game, as well as you're getting it 3 days early, plus a few more benefits as well. But those are just
$80.
$80 for this game. Yes.
So much.
This actually is something we talked about a long time ago, but it's still interesting today. Do you guys think that's a cool thing to do? Charge people more money to release a game early? So Microsoft does this all the time. Forza Horizon 3, you pay $80, you get it 5 days early. Gears of War 4, you pay I think it was $80 or $100. You also get it 5 days early. They have a program called EA Access on Xbox One where I think you get it maybe 10 days early, but it's just 10 hours.
That's correct. So you can get it like 7 to 10 days early, which is going on as we speak right now, and you pre-order it with the EA Access program. It's like $5 a month, and kind of go from there in the subscription. And basically you play it 10 hours. So if you are playing it, definitely make sure you're closing out of the game if you quit. Otherwise, timer keeps going. And you get full access to the game too. So you get a real opportunity to see, do I want to buy this game? Does this game live up to the hype to bring Madden glory back and to basically get people who aren't necessarily sports fans into the game Madden? Because I believe Madden, since Madden 09, what they do is more adaptability. So the game adapts to you and your playing style, forcing you to critically think what plays do I want to call in this situation, so you don't use the same 5 plays, because it gets boring after a long time.
It's not blitz after all.
Exactly. So the defense actually adapts to your playing ability and what your plays you're calling.
Yeah, it's more strategic than just manipulating.
So
Exactly.
let me ask you, as a Madden fan, I always talk to people and they say, I'm not going to buy the new one. I'm just going to make all the player trades. So what is it about this new one that would keep people like going back to it year after year?
I think with the improved graphics and environments, the authentic gameplay, and making it true to what you see on TV on Sunday, they've really done a great job in improving the broadcast too. So the broadcast used to be very fragmented conversations. It was very add-on and very like pre-recorded and everything. But what they do is they update the broadcast every single week. So they're bringing up relevant topics.
That's pretty cool.
Okay,
Things
yeah,
you haven't
pretty
heard before.
Huh.
The weather and everything too. Even as the game begins at 4 o'clock, if you set it at that time, the game will look like it's 7 o'clock by the time it's over. So the sun position
wow.
changes.
Oh, nice.
And also from the previous Madden, the players look more realistic. So if your quarterback got sacked 5 times during the game, his jersey will be very dirty. It's going to be very the helmets are dinged. So and the movements too. The torso has been the biggest curse of Madden for a long time. They're just kind of running with a straight torso, but now the rotations are very fluid. They're very human-like. It just has become a better experience. Gang tackling too has definitely improved.
Okay.
But this is one of the 3rd year releases, right? This is like projected to be a big improvement. So Josh, I think to your point, what's going to make somebody buy episode 19 or whatever, Madden 19,
Versus,
as
like,
opposed
18, yeah.
Yeah, or it also begs the question, why don't they just do like software updates or patches to do
I was about to ask that same thing. It
but-
should just be called Madden.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then sold with team rosters
It
for 20 to 30
seems
bucks.
like it's more of a money thing.
No, it
though.
totally
Yeah.
is. $60 a year guaranteed for all the Madden population. It's like, why not?
I feel like they sell like in the tens of millions of these games.
it's the same
too.
people buying them every year. Like,
Yeah.
maybe
That's exactly it too. You're right.
the way that Tom was describing it makes it sound cool. I would never get it, but if I were to get a sports game, I think I would get that because it sounds cool. So maybe they will reach a new audience.
And that's the whole point too right there, is they're hoping every single year they can bring on more people. So for example, I'm here sitting talking to you guys about Madden, how cool Madden 18 is supposed to be. that maybe one of you guys will go out and get it, and then you guys will word of mouth from there. But you're right. People like me are going to buy it every single year or get it for Christmas every single year.
Yeah, you'll get it no matter what.
And keep playing it. What if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But while they're doing that, they're also trying to improve. So you've seen previous Maddens, they use the same technology. Then they have a breakthrough year like this using the Frostbite technology. They're hoping from there they can catapult something else.
Do you think like the player covers add like a level of collectability to these games?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think with Rob Gronkowski for the Patriots last year, especially with Tom Brady and how a polarizing athlete he is, he's going to get a lot of attention from his fans and also his haters too. But they kind of go from there.
So I have the really important question that all the listeners are probably begging to wonder. How many butt tackles can you do after the play is finished?
Butt slams, you mean?
This is Blitz 2018, right?
I wish you could do that, but I'd have to say 0 because.
So wait, how many on fire plays do you do?
No question, NFL Blitz is probably better than Madden will ever be. Let's just get that off the table right
The
now.
64 version, right?
That's Blitz or Blitz 2000.
There were a few other ones too. There's like Fever and NFL Street. Like, what happened to all those games?
Oh, yeah,
the
you just-
best.
Those you just hit against a brick wall and stuff like that.
We could literally talk about those games for a year, man.
But Brian, quick thing that you and Dave mentioned, they do patches, they do the player updates, they do like the player skill. So if your player had a bad game in real life on Sunday, he will have bad ratings that week as you're playing.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like
So
that.
that's one more thing I want to add to any of the listeners who are on the fence about this game is that it does stay very true to what's happening in real life.
And he works for EA.
And he also works for EA. He works for
I
EA, the bowling alley,
And Splitsville.
and Splitsville,
Busy
and
man.
he's also a physical therapist. For reals, though, in the last one.
Thank you.
Anyways, guys, that was a fun, educational, enlightening section on that news, especially on that Madden section. So thank you, Tank Bank. But we're going to take another quick little break, Bank.
Hey everyone, venture into the pop culture cosmos today, where you'll hear our conversations on different topics within the world of movies, TV, video games, comic books, technology, board gaming, and more. You'll also get a taste of some of our other shows within the cosmos as well. So come on and join us each week as we delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.
All right, guys, we are back. Thanks for hanging with us on this sweet episode 22. Tonight, as you know, the topic of the day is most satisfying gaming moments. And as you probably know, our Insta Slam has been getting a lot of jam, if you know what I mean.
Off the hook.
Off the hook. So if you want to jam, then we're going to read you some Instagrams.
Slayer.
Yeah. So, like, Nostalgia Plays wrote, for his most satisfying gaming moment, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, the 3-heart challenge. I assume that means beating the
Dude.
game with only 3 hearts.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
A lot of speedrunners do that, actually, just because it's faster to not get hearts. They don't necessarily do the 3-heart challenge, but that is nuts, dude, because especially in those later bosses, 3 hearts gone in one hit, for sure.
I can't even imagine.
That's awesome.
You probably couldn't do it on the new one because you need 13 hearts on certain parts just to progress through the game or to get.
Oh, in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
That's what sucks about newer games is they kind of cut out a lot of room for cool challenges like that and achievements things.
But just to contradict exactly what he said, you can beat Breath of the Wild with 3 hearts. You do not need to have all of them. That 13 hearts
Well-
is so you can get the Master Sword, but you don't need the Master Sword to beat Ganon. Sorry.
You didn't know you were talking to a dictionary tonight. Sorry, Jake.
A dictionary.
You're welcome for that alley-oop there.
Set me up there.
Wait.
All right.
Dictionary move.
What's that? What was his Instagram name again?
Nostalgia Plays.
Thanks, Nostalgia Plays, for hitting us up on Instagram. We really appreciate that, and that resonated with me, so thank you.
All right, so we got the next one from Garrett Lyon, and he says beating Ace Combat 6 for the first time back in 2008. So
Down to the year.
I haven't played many Ace Combat games. I haven't played any Ace Combat games. I don't know what I was saying. But I hear they're pretty difficult. Are they? They're the jet games, right? Where
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Star Fox,
Yeah.
but with real
Yeah,
physics, I assume.
Yeah, I know Garrett, and he loves like flight simulators and fighting games and
And there's Star Wolf in it.
Uncle Andros. But he
Slippy.
my beautiful reward. But he
Don't potty just yet.
Tom, you missed the quiz last week. We one of the bonus questions was the name the 4 Star Wolf characters.
Oh my gosh.
Davey
A quiz I
Poole.
would have actually done well on.
I know you should listen to it. Listen to episode 21, and yeah, it was funny.
Tom, you got something for us?
Yeah.
Thanks,
so-
Garrett. By the way, thank you.
Thank you, Garrett, very much. Our post that I have to read right here is from Mark Batstone. Yes, that is his Instagram. He said, beating Dalton's Golem on Chrono Trigger. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with Chrono Trigger.
You know
Can you guys
what?
speak to this?
I can speak directly to this. Dalton's Golem, as a person who's legitimately beat Dalton's Golem, it's really like
Brian, how do you feel about that?
really struck a chord with me on the old heartstrings. So Mark Batstone, dig it, love it, thank you. That's a great moment.
I think we got a lot of liars on this, but I'll let liars lie. And who else do we got, my Davies?
Yeah, so this is from Shelly Sutton 3. Her most satisfying gaming moment was when I got a bunch of stars on Super Mario. So yeah, obviously that's a great satisfying moment. Super Mario is a wonderful game. So thank you, Shelly Sutton 3. I'm sure you'd make a great mom.
And we got a last minute posting from and thanks for that, Shelly, again. We got a last minute posting from Freaking Lions. He said he beat Dalton's Golem on the first try, which is, I know, a pure-blooded lie. We all know that in this podcast. We know no one can do it. It's impossible, but we'll let you lie.
Would you worship
For us.
someone who had beaten Dalton's Golem on the first try?
I'd praise them all night.
Wow. Okay.
And celebrate their strength.
I'm gonna call up my lawyer, get some documents drafted up. Do we have any more? Is that it?
Well, that's our Instas. We
That's
actually
our
do have an
Insties?
email today, but we're going to
Yeah.
save that.
Okay.
Bones.
Hey, well, thanks Insta Crew for those sweet jams. That was awesome. So we encourage you guys to those who follow us to hit us up on Instagram when we release the topic of the day, because we will read your topics, your comments on the show. So thanks a lot. But Josh, let me hear about your most satisfying game moments. I want to hear the real nitty gritty deets,
right.
my brah.
It's a story, all right.
Okay.
So you guys remember back in the day when you had to have memory cards?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I keep them on me at all times.
a very specific game, Final Fantasy VII. I had a memory card and I played it. Got to the second disc. First time, my memory card got chewed up by a dog, so I had to start the game over again.
Did you
Teacher,
get the
my-
topic confused?
Second time, no. I'm
This is not your homework.
I'm leading up to it. Second time, my memory card, my brother overrode my Final Fantasy save.
Oh, classic little brother
So
move.
I finally got to the fourth disc on Final Fantasy VII, beat the boss, and it was the most satisfying thing ever because I had tried 3 times to get that far.
And your whole family's waiting outside
Trying to
so-
break family, trying to
So
figure out
many
how they can
forces at work
sabotage
here.
me.
I
Yeah.
know. Not only the game's forces of evil, but also real life.
Real life, yes.
Wow. This is
So
like AR at earliest
it was
stages.
the proudest moment of my video game life.
Overcame your younger brother's
Oh, yeah,
advances to
and
get that
dogs.
memory
That's
card.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Dogs.
You know.
You're basically Cloud IRL.
Yeah,
I should
exactly.
call you Cloud now.
Exactly.
That's cool, dude. Any other ones?
That's it, man.
What about those
I'm a
like
very
Halo LAN
frustrated
parties
gamer.
at your house, man?
Those were the days.
Those were so fun.
Josh always got last
Pizza Hut.
place.
Pizza Hut, yeah, and
No,
the,
Little Caesars
we got-
too.
and like the names of our characters, like it always
Yes.
say like you got beat by Dave's mom or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And then after party, watching The Punisher.
Oh,
Hey, watching The Punisher?
Yeah.
Dude, those are fun times, man. Miss those times. So thanks for sharing, Joshy Poo. Branky, why don't you lay on me one of your moments?
Well, I got 2, and they're both pretty quick, but one
Good.
of them was... I don't know if you guys ever did it, but I got all 120 stars in Super Mario 64.
What? Yeah.
And I remember trying to get the 100 coins on Rainbow Ride. I want to say it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
last
It's
level.
a hard level.
I remember it took me at least 10, maybe 20 tries. I remember finally getting that star, taking the cannon and seeing Yoshi and thinking, I did it. I beat this game. That's one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an awesome game.
I played that game so many times. That and then the first game I ever remember beating was Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Gear.
Dude, Game Gear.
Yeah, and I just remember thinking like, wow, I beat a game. I don't know how I did it. Because back in those days, like there was no save files.
Yeah.
You had to beat the
Right.
whole game
I
in
know.
one sitting, or else
Ridiculous.
you died. You had to restart.
It's like Gradius.
Robot.
Yeah,
Such a jerk.
Gradius.
Gradius is oh my gosh.
I've
that's
never
fun.
beaten.
Don't get me
Gradius.
started on Gradius. I can talk about Gradius all night. That's awesome. Thank you, Branky Poo.
You're welcome.
Tom, you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go. My top moment probably that came to mind right away was Zelda's Majora's Mask for 64. It's a really tough game. I actually had to get the strategy guide, which can be considered a cardinal sin, but we didn't care.
Depends on what household you're
Yeah,
raised
our
in.
household, you had a strategy guide. It was like, it took the fun away of trying to beat the game. So we ended up having to do it. So my dad and I spent countless hours playing because the game's premise is basically you have 3 days to save the world from the moon crashing into the earth. But very difficult game, a lot of fun, great time, and I think beating that was very satisfying. And also, you guys remember the game Fable for Xbox? Where you
Yes.
had to be
Yeah,
a good guy,
yeah, for sure.
bad guy.
Kick the chickens.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of
yeah.
fun. Great game.
Kick the chickens.
That was a game I had beat it as a good guy. That was very tough actually being as a good guy compared to being somebody who's evil, who's basically like a sociopath, just like kills everybody.
Dude,
Like
being
sneaks
evil,
into there.
I have a lot of trouble like being evil in games, but that was one game I didn't mind it because you look so flippin'
You do.
cool.
You look
when
And
awesome.
you're
also,
evil.
it's hard to not kill random people you're not supposed to. Like, it happens
Yeah.
on accident a lot. And you, can't
And you
really-
get to break into their houses at night and steal all their stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And with force push, you just get 10 guys around you and just like shoot them all
Dude,
away.
that game was so fun.
Very fun, very fun game. Great RPG, but I think like probably the
Potions? Food?
old food. I could break you, so leave it. I think beating him at the very end was a lot. It's very cathartic because he's like bossing you around the whole game.
Is he evil? I forget.
I don't think he's technically evil.
Oh,
but
you can attack him.
You have the choice to beat him or not.
Yeah, that's right.
Basically, there's the main bad guy, but you have a choice before you fight him. Do I kill my mentor or not?
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, you kill the guy you love, right?
Exactly. But when you're evil, like you grow these like giant horns. and,
Yeah.
like, your footprints are actually blood.
Aren't
so-
your feet cloven as well?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually have like hooves. So
Yeah,
basically, you're
so
like a spawn
cool.
of Satan.
Obviously.
But it was a lot of fun. It's really cool kind of beating it on both sides and kind of comparing to see how it was. And definitely beating it as a good guy is way harder.
Totally. Thanks for sharing. So I got 2 ones as well. So my first one was beating the Mass Effect series on Insane and getting all the outcomes that I wanted. The most like the microwave version of that is Mass Effect 2 on Insane, getting through on Paragon, and keeping all the dude boys that I wanted to keep alive. So Mass Effect 2, the end sequence is probably one of my favorite moments in games ever. I just love that moment.
It's awesome.
My other most satisfying moment is from World of Warcraft, which some of you guys have played a little bit of, right?
Yeah.
So
I dabble.
I got
dabble.
level 55, Pally.
Yeah, there you go. So in the Burning Crusade, there were a lot of raids, and I didn't really raid a whole lot in Burning Crusade. I was more focused on with Max and Nate and Grant and those guys. We played a lot of Battlegrounds and Arena, which was super rad. Anyways, PvP. But there was this like really small window of time between the Wrath of the Lich King being announced and released in the end of Burning Crusade, where they dumbed down all of the boss fights and they quartered the health of all the bosses and whatever. So it was like you could run all these big huge raids that you needed 20 25 people to, and all the like crazy gear to down. Anyways, like we didn't have any of that. So they had made that game change, and we were like, oh dude, let's do all the raids tonight. So we basically raided with like a random group of people from 6 p.m. like the moment that Max got off from Golden Spoon to 5 in the morning. so
I love the golden spoon.
Leroy. So anyway, yeah, Max was working at Golden Spoon just down the street, and he's like, "Yo guys, just get off the spoon. What are we doing tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, they just did this, like raid thing or whatever. Let's play some raids." He's like, All right, got my laptop, got some Golden Spoon that I jacked from work. Let's go. So we basically ordered pizza. We got Deli News, and we played WoW till all hours of the night, and
Sounds like almost 12 hours there.
Dude, it was so freaking amazing though, because we were downing all these bosses. We did all the raids, and got a lot of sweet gear. Super fun.
Could you guys finish Dead Mines though? Because that's a hard one. I've
Yeah.
done that a couple times.
Dead Mines gave us some trouble, but we got the player's guide, so phew. But
I actually own the World of Warcraft player's guide like an idiot.
I didn't even know there was one.
There is.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
This is how you loot a corpse. This is what you do when you turn level 2.
This is how you make monthly payments for your online service.
That's what it's really about.
I love it because there's a World of Warcraft player's guide, but because the game gets patched so much, it's pretty much irrelevant almost instantly.
They send you inserts to staple into your player's guide every
Tape
week.
these pages. Here you go. Tape these pages right where we tell you.
Sorry, I'm almost done. The very the highlight of the night was Max didn't have a car because he got dropped off at work, and he's like, "Oh, hey man, can you drive me home?" So it's 5 a.m. and we've been playing all night. So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, all right, I'll drive you home." So I drive him home, and I don't think anything of it. I just drop him off, and then I leave. But he didn't have his keys with him. He left his keys in my room.
Oh my god!
He left his keys in my room, and he tried calling me, but I didn't have my phone on. I don't know what it was, but he tried calling me. I didn't answer, and so he broke into his neighbor's house and slept on his friend's floor for the night because his house was locked and he just couldn't get in, and it was 5 a.m. So he just crashed for 2 hours on his friend's floor, woke up, and then let his dad let him in.
Was his friend home?
His friend was home. His friend is one of our best friends. His name's Grant, and it was totally cool. But he still broke into this person's house at midnight or 5 a.m. and slept on their floor.
I'm gonna have to call the police.
Oh hey, hey Max, you broke and entered.
Grant sleeps so heavily though that he didn't even know until the next day. Anyways, that's my most satisfying moment.
That was awesome. I miss the days of WoW and
Me too.
STV, my bros.
STV, STD. Oh my gosh, Branky. I think we've gotten an email. Is that true?
We do. We have the one and only one of our favorite bros, a fan member, Veet Mesquite, as he titled this.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to read you guys the email. He said, "Hey gang, sorry I couldn't be there this week. As requested, below is a brief review regarding Mary Shelley's Frankenstein." This is his most satisfying gaming moment, or the modern Prometheus. I'll read this as quickly as I can because it's 3 real quick paragraphs. First published in 1818 London, the novel follows one Victor Frankenstein and the unending torment that follows him after his misguided pursuit for knowledge ends in his creation of a grotesque but sapient creature that would eventually lead to the doom of them both. Themes of knowledge, sublime nature, and secrecy are interspersed throughout the novel, as well as motifs of passive women, light and fire, and even abortion.
Wow.
As Victor Frankenstein would later go on to abort his second creation with rising fears of what evils may follow should the monsters mate. Written by an atheist at a time when atheism was unpopular, Mary Shelley has created a sleeping giant that I believe has gone mostly unnoticed.
Dude, the libraries are going to be off the hook after this.
It's created a sleeping giant that I believe has gone mostly unnoticed in our modern day. And I vow to spend my time promoting it as frequently and as often as I can for the remainder of my life. 5 stars. Jacob Mark Schaefer. And then he wanted to ask you, Dave, any update on Fez? I think Dave beat Fez was what he said this week. That was the first thing he said. I bought and beat Fez. I spent 30 or 40 hours of my life playing it.
Oh my gosh.
That was awesome, Jake. We miss you. Have
that's
fun
hilarious.
in Oregon.
Yeah, safe travels, my brah. That was amazing. So real quick, we also got a couple new reviews on the podcast. So thank you for posting those. I'm going to read them aloud. So this first review is by Harrison's 13. Great podcast, 5 stars. I play games myself and love hearing these guys talk about games. I think it would be awesome, though, if you had people call in, kind of like a morning radio talk show.
We're working on that right now.
That would be interesting as soon as we had the technology available to support that. That's a great suggestion, Harrison's 13.
Find Brian's numbers in the description.
Yeah, I put my personal cell phone number just so anyone can get a hold of me.
Call or text anytime.
We got another one?
Maybe Harrison's, you can call in. Maybe you can be our first call-in guest. All right,
First-time
so
caller, full-time listener.
there you go. The next comment is by somebody who we don't know but love, Mark VSB. Fun for casual or elite gamer. I play games only every so often, so I'm not that hardcore, but this is a fun group to listen to even for the occasional gamer. Good audio quality and banter too. Thank you. Thank you, Marky.
Thank you, Mark VSB,
Thank you.
who I've never heard of before in my life.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, guys. I also encourage all of our other listeners out there to please rate and review our podcast. We appreciate the feedback, and hopefully we can implement that and keep improving the show. So thanks so much, guys. I think it's time to sign this sweet baby off. Episode 20 dose. Real quick, do a quick plug for ourselves. One of our very own members of the show, Branky Brankerson, had an exclusive interview with the developer and who else?
Developers of Two Ravens.
Yeah.
It's the developer and the programmer for the game. It was called Wild Heart. That should be up as of today. And
It's up now.
Yeah. It was really, really fun. They're really cool guys. They're really cool guys, and we're hoping to do more of that stuff in the future because we think
Where
it's
can they find
really
us?
fun. They can find it on iTunes or at podcast.com. They can also find us on Instagram. Dave, you want to give us all those sweet deets, though?
Yeah, hopefully I can get it right this time. But real quick before I forget, Josh, what is that like broadcast thing that your
Podcast Radio Network.
podcast radio network? So we encourage you guys to listen to us on that as well.
Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock.
There you go. Tuesday nights at 7. So real quick, one more plug. Email us at superbsgamescast@gmail.com.
No.
Oh my gosh.
The
What is
Gmail
it?
is SuperBSCast. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
That's the one.
Super BS Cast. Oh, like the Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of me being an idiot is going to be good for the listeners, though. Super BS Cast at Gmail. Twitter, Super BS Cast. Instagram, Super BS BS ASS.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. Super BS Games Cast. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. Hit us up on those mediums, and we are out. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We're not out.
Real quick, I
What's
want
up?
to check. What's going on with you, Tom? Are you going to be back anytime soon? I want to hear what's what's your
going
future life
on?
journey, my bro?
Well, actually, next week I'm moving to Arizona next
Oh,
Friday.
yeah.
I got a new job as a physical therapist at a hospital. It's Kingman Regional Medical Center. Giving them a plug.
that
Plugging
hospital.
them. New employer.
Go there, you dudes. You know you need it.
Kingman's a very small town on Route 66, so I'm sure you've heard it in the Nat King Cole song.
Get your
or
kicks,
anybody
man.
else who's done the song before Nat King Cole. But basically it was a great opportunity, great benefits. Really hard to say no, especially with student loans where they are right now. And I figure
Love me some student loans.
right now I'm a bachelor, got some disposable income. It'd be a good time to kind of get get out.
Yeah, you're not
wet.
going to want to do it later, so it's good to take advantage of that now.
Exactly. Great coworkers. I also interned out there for my first experience when I was still in school. So it was a great connection from the start. The guy I used to work with is actually now my boss, and he actually gave me a cell phone call back in May, and they paid for me to come out there for an interview. It was very much of a formality. They said, we already interviewed you
Oh, cool.
last year during your internship, and we love the work you're doing. So
And they gave you free gaming hours, right? Where they
Yeah.
just let you game on the job
so
for
I
a
can
while.
take time away from work to get my continuing education in video games, so I can keep doing it, get going on that. So
Well, cool. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for being on the show with us,
Yeah,
Tom.
thanks, Tom.
thanks for having me.
was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was great having you. Maybe per Harrison's 13 suggestion, you can call in from AZ every now and again.
I'd love to call in and let you guys know how
Yeah,
Madden
let us know
18
how
is.
Madden goes.
please.
Oh, I do.
Please.
I actually kind of want to hear that. You made a really compelling case to buy the game.
Well, thank you. I do what I can to get my research, and I'll keep trying to play. I guess Heroes on iPad.
Yeah, let us know how Fafner is treating you.
Fafner's doing well. He's doing well at Tower right now.
Nice.
So
There you go.
things are
You
going
still
good.
play the Faf?
I still play Fafner. I still play Tower. That's what I always
Yeah, I
played.
saw that screenshot you sent me. You're a tower man.
That's what I am.
Towers man himself.
Cool, guys. Well, thanks again. Super fun tonight. And we're Super BS. Out.
Peace.
That to us people that can feel things, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.